We're here at Eurobike to hunt down the latest in tech, and we've got everything. We've got roof tents, we've got really big wheeled bikes, and we've got some new amazing DH bikes, plus loads more. We're on the Shimano booth, and we've spied something that we've chatted about on the show, but I've not yet seen in the flesh, and that's this new Dior Di2 wireless shifter. And, well, we've got the crankset there as well, and obviously we've got the shifter. It looks awesome in the flesh. It's really impressive. So this is the one with a steel cage, but it's wireless shifting at a new lower price point. You interested in it? I definitely am. We've talked about XCR before, but there's this wonderful model here on the Shimano booth. I think for me it flags how quick the shifting really is. I'm just holding the button down, and there we go, we've done the whole block. Really smooth. The button has got this wonderful tactile feel, and we can do multi-shifts. It's just really nice. It's really impressive, and look at that speed again. It is very fast for an electronic system, and I think very fast for, well, any shifting system. We've talked about it on the tech show, we've talked about it when we've done our video all about XTR, but it's kind of hard to convey unless you've got a wonderful setup like this. But on the XTR shifter, you've got a multi-shift button. So as well as the individual clicks, so I can just do one shift at a time, I can also hold in the shifter, speed all the way up the cassette and down. I've also got like a double tap system where you can do 2 clicks on the shifter and you move up 3 cogs. It's really nice. Really good for, well, on the trail, which isn't where we are now, but you get the picture. I just wonder where. Great little range here, called the, well, 1-timer, 2-timer, and 2-timer XT, and they're all different CO2, well, tools. So we've got a CO tool storage and inflator tool. Then we've got one with an extra section where we've got all the tubeless things that you might need, the plugs, the worms, all of those things. And then we've got one that's very clever. That is the 2-timer XT. Looks very streamlined and very smooth, but first up, well, you've got a normal mini pump. You're like, okay, that's not that exciting, but there's more, because as we unscrew it, we've got lots of exciting bits. First, we've got a plug. Then we've got our worm storage. And then, well, if we unscrew this section and we unscrew this section, we can then utilize this head, which was the head of the pump, into a CO2 inflator and worm inflator in one. It is really clever. This one is going to be around $45 US. The storage and worm one is going to be around 39, and then the smallest one is just around 25. Prices to be confirmed, but yeah, lovely little tools. This is the Orbea Oid, a very high performance XC race bike, and we've seen the Orbea factory team running lots of different bars and stems, but Jen Jackson, who got 5th place just in Val d'Isole over the weekend, is running this bar setup at the moment. Very nice to see it in the flesh. Awesome paintwork. I really like hardtails, especially modern geometry ones, like this Alma from Orbea. This, especially this colourway, just looks banging. We're here on the Lazer booth, and we've got a wonderful selection of helmets. Not all of them are new, but there's some new colourways that will be released later on. I've got my favourite. Let me know what yours is. Interesting thing here is all of these helmets have got the Virginia Tech 5-star rating. So this is this new testing standard where they're testing helmets in slightly different modes, and it should help make safer helmets. I think it's great stuff. Another interesting thing about these helmets is you might be aware of MIPS and other slide layer technology. Well, Lazer are doing their own. It's called Kinetic Core, and on the inside they've got the very small foam structures. So the same foam that the helmet's made of, but these smaller structures can absorb those little impacts. It's a bit like a crumple zone on the front of a car. Obviously much, much smaller, and for your head. So not that related to cars. Anyway, let me know down in the comments which helmet is your favourite. We're on the Live stand, which is next to the Giant stand, and I've got to say this is one of the most intriguing bikes of the whole show. It's the Intrigue. Actually looks like a really nice e-bike, to be fair. Puns aside, this does look absolutely cracking. More on GMBN about that. We might be far away from, well, any mountain bike trails, but we've got dust, we've got mud, fresh from Val d'Isole, with Linda Ingergrand's very nice bike. Looks fast. We're on the Giant booth, and here's a Trans X. It's not like any ones that I've seen before because it's all cut up in a really fantastic way. This is the aluminium frame, and it's fantastic in the fact that we can see all the details. According to Giant, there's 163 different manufacturing processes, and it goes through 48 pairs of hands. That is impressive. And look at that machined wall there. Oh, lovely. We've done a pro bike check on a very, very fast Giant used by Alan Hatherley at one of the tech videos. But here's a new one. I mean, some of the pivots are in the same place. The shock is definitely not in the same place. So yeah, interesting bike. We'll find out more details as soon as we can. Vittoria. Very nice tyres. We saw them at Leogang. And we saw some secret ones that we weren't allowed to show you on fear of being tasered, which, as the comments suggested, no one wanted me to get tasered. But now I can reveal, here it is. This is a brand new mud tyre from Vittoria. I've been told the proper Italian way is torrente. Effectively, it's like torrent. It's designed for muddy conditions, so got a really open tread. But we've got some lovely little sections in here of raised, elevated sections. We've got loads of sniping. We've got a really open pattern. And we've got similarities here with a Barzo. So if you're an XC racer and it's kind of muddier conditions and you've ridden the Barzo, you'd be able to transfer your cornering skills and understanding of how the tyre feels really well to this tyre, but it's much more open. Other thing that you'll have noticed, not just at Leogang, but at lots of cross-country races, is there's hard pack. And with traditional mud tyres with really open tread patterns, well, it's difficult to actually get traction because of the way that the tyre works. It's difficult to get it to grip. But with this near centre line, we've got a tyre that can grip on those hard packs thanks to all these snipes and this rolling edge. Makes it a really grippy tyre. Other exciting news for British people is lots of mud tyres for lots of reasons, maybe clearance and I guess tradition, were always really skinny. I guess the logic was to bite through the mud and get down to something firmer. But Vittoria sticking to their guns and making a 2.4 version as well as the 2.25. We should mention in that 2.4 carcass, so we've got the 60 TPI, slightly tougher, but they've made it quite light, the carcass, but it's matched to a race soft compound. And that the magic of both of those from Ken and from others at Vittoria mean that it's a really high performance tyre. And that same technology is now available in a 2.4 Barzo. We've not seen that before. The Mezcal, we've seen that before. The Peyote, we have seen that before. One of the fastest rolling, sort of lowest rolling resistant tyres out there. And now we've got Terreno in the 2.4. And for sidewall fans, we've got lots of options too, because all of these new XC race tyres are available in this new tan wall and black. So you can mix and match all the different tyre combos that you want. Maybe a Barzo and Mezcal combo. That's what I'm after. Yeah, the world is your, well, possibly a tyre. Get stuck in. Lots of cargo bikes here and lots of dogs, which is always good. We know that you like dogs. So here's some Eurobike chat from some dogs. Okay, it's not what I expected. Let's get another insight. Low chat. Big downhill bike. This is the Polygon Colossus. It's been developed by quite a lot of racers, actually. We've got a clever multi-link system here. I guess the headline news is that you can set it up as a 29, so full 29, all mixed wheel size. And there's a couple of adjustments with flip chips so you can change the geometry. Aluminium frame, all good stuff. Lots of travel, 200mm front and rear. And yeah, you're like, it's great. The paint job's got a wonderful colour fade. So really nicely spec'd with Fox suspension. Then we've got a SRAM drivetrain. All of which you're probably thinking, well, that's fine, Owen. That's not that exciting. Okay, I still think the colourway is really exciting. Got to talk pricing. We don't often talk about pricing at Eurobike because models are either pre-production or they're just about to come out, so it hasn't been agreed with distributors and the sales network. But things are different here at Polygon, and they're very happy to talk about pricing, and that's important because this bike comes in at €5,499. That's this spec. That is very, very competitive. There's another model that's even cheaper. It's got a RockShox SRAM build, and yeah, I think that's under $4,000 for a downhill World Cup ready bike. If you're looking for a new bike park, you've got to add this to your list. Okay, you might be more used to seeing Polygon with trail bikes. So we've seen the downhill bike. This is the Colossus T9, which is their trail bike. We've got 150 rear travel, 160 up front, and this is all new because this is all new carbon. And we've got also a new suspension linkage, which is really nice. It's effectively like a 6-bar link, and there's loads of adjustment on there too. So it will most likely, because this is sort of a almost to be released, come with 29.29, but it'll be available with mixed wheel size as well. There's loads of nice details. There's an adjustment here, so I'm assuming that's for the mixed wheel size, but we've got a high and low here, which I'm assuming is for bottom bracket, which is going to make it a little bit slacker. It's also adjustable head angle as well with a adjustable headset. There's also a really cool down tube storage thing in here, which I've got to say has got the best name for any of these things around. It's called Poly Pocket. Love that name. Busy booth. This is the Velduro booth, and this is their Avanox powered e-bike. We're going to be brief because it is sort of EMTB content really, but really interesting bike. Interesting because we've got a high pivot, we've got the Avanox motor, we've got full carbon frame. Lots of nice little details with flip chips. You can run it with mixed wheel size. But I think the most interesting thing, and I think it's a first, at least for me, do correct me in the comments, is that you'll be able to get this bike as a frame kit. So you get the Avanox motor, the battery, the rear suspension, the rear shock, and the whole frame set. I'm not sure anyone else is doing that, and it means that you can build it up, well, as you want. And prices for that frame kit start around 5,000 euros. Interesting stuff. Dirtysixer. This is amazing. This is a hardtail mountain bike. We've got a 5-inch fork up there. And yeah, despite the name, this is a 32-inch wheeled bike, yeah. It's got fat bike spacing, so 150 front hub and 197 on the rear. But the whole logic is you've got loads of room for these really big I think they're 2.35s? No, 2.4 32-inch wheels. Is this the future? Well, for taller people and for riders looking for more smooth rolling from the bigger wheels, perhaps it is. Let me know in the comments down below. I think perhaps it is a little bit too big for me, but for others, longer in leg, maybe it's perfect. Greetings from a wonderful perch on a Defender. It's all very nice up here, to be fair. The bed is very comfy, very smooth. What other things can I talk about? It's very well ventilated. We've got a lot of space in here too. We can have, you could have a little pie up here if you're so inclined. This is a new tent roof situation from Yakima, and there's loads of outdoor stuff here that if you're a mountain biker that heads out for a good long weekend away and wants, well, a camp stove, and you want to take your bikes and you want to really get out into the wilds, you should definitely have a look at some of this stuff. This tent included. I'm not the tallest of people, but I can actually stand quite easily in this tent. We've got loads of light in here. I could get really excited about this. Normally I've seen this sort of like other tents in boxes on roofs, and they've been a bit pokey and not very light and a bit claustrophobic. This is nice. Even on a kind of like wet, grim day in Wales, this would be quite a good home. And I believe my bike is just there. Great. There's actual bike racks too. This one's like a 3-bike one with lots of adjustment. We've got LED lights, lots of really sturdy buckles, all really nice stuff. And we've got locking stuff, which is very handy if you've got a more expensive bike, be that an e-bike like this or a regular mountain bike. So yeah, not just super cool camping stuff for those overland adventures. Now you've got practical stuff to go to, little trail centres in the UK too. Great stuff. We're on the Uswe booth, and you might know them for, lots of their packs for, at Cape Epic, lots and lots of riders use them. And they're famous for this kind of harness that fits in the middle. They're really compact packs, but they've got lots more. They've got loads of different packs, and this is their latest pack, and it's super adjustable. This is the VST, and this is just the first product in the range. It's going to be available later in the year, and there's loads of adjustment. So first, we've got different sort of back lengths, so you can change the length of this strap section here, so you can kind of elongate it or shorten it just to fit you. There's also lots of different versions of this. So there's a winter version with insulation for your hose. Then, as you can see, we've got this pocket on the front. So the center clip that you see is famous for is under there, but you can fit different pockets on there. There's lots of adjustment. You could also run it with a back protector or without. So it's really adaptable too. So you're not forced into having to have a back protector on a pack, all because it's the right size for the activity that you're doing. There's also a GoPro mount and loads of useful pockets. Looks great. So I mentioned that Uswe are kind of probably most famous for their race packs, and here's a really good example. This is the Race 2.0, and it is really light. It's really minimal. You just get well, space to put a bladder, maybe a tool. But they've got other mountain bike packs that still fit into that really lightweight model as well. You've got the Rush here, so we've got this extra storage panel, nice and low, so it keeps the weight down. And it's just a free-form pocket, so you can fit a lot in there. So whilst you've got this big pocket on the back for maybe a shell layer, you've got loads of pockets on the front where you can access them. So you could put your phone, you could put a multi-tool, you could put, well, your tubeless plugs where you can get to them really quickly. It's really interesting pack setup, and the weights on these are really impressive. They are super light. Impressive. We're on the MIPS booth, and there is a lot of tech. It's a fascinating story. They've been in the helmet game, or the helmet technology game, for over a decade. And that first iteration, a simple slide layer that went into your helmet, has evolved, and it's evolved hugely. And there's now up to 12 different iterations. The very latest is this split shell version, which we saw on the Fox DH helmet, but here it's on the trail helmet. Effectively, we've got an outer shell and then two separate sections inside and a slide layer between them. It means that the helmet brands can play with different density of foam to add even more protection. But there's lots of other versions too. At the other end of the scale, there's the lightweight options like the Air Node, which uses well, again, it's a slide layer, and it's a sliding layer that adds lots of protection to your brain, which is why lots of the MIPS helmets get very good testing in the Virginia Tech testing. But we've got this wonderful Air Node system in here, very lightweight, and now helmet designers and brands are able to play with where the foam is positioned, and that means that they can manage sweat and moisture really successfully. And then to the very latest, which is launched here at Eurobike today, this is the MIPS Air Node Pro. So it's got that same Air Node technology, which is named because on the back side here of the slide layer, we can see the little nodes that they can sort of pivot and float on. But with the Air Pro, well, there's more changes. So with the pad, there's a little bit of adjustment, so we can move it around. And they've also got what they're dubbing moisture management. Okay, this doesn't sound that high-tech because everybody gets a bit sweaty. But actually, it does make a real difference. They've got sweat channels here, so where you sweat and where that kind of moisture can drain is directed out of your vision, which makes it safer. Great stuff. Okay, wow, that was mind-blowing, mind-bending as well. So much new tech, but lots of just new and improved iterations. And I think really excitingly, lots of really interesting value propositions in terms of, yes, there's expensive blingy stuff, but then there's good technology from the MIPS stuff to new entry-level brands. Let me know what your favourite was down in the comments below.